LA Business Spotlight.
Greed is good.
Always be closing.
It's strictly business.
Welcome to LA Business Spotlight. I'm Joel Metzger. We have in the studio today Leslie Burns, who has a business called One Healthy Mother.
Hi.
That's a catchy name. Tell us about One
Well,
Healthy
thank
Mother.
you. Well, it was born literally out of the birth of my son, who's now 5. And it became my passion, and certainly I thought it was my job to feed him as nutritiously as possible and to keep him as healthy as possible. And it started with a blog called One Hungry Mother. And then when I got into nutrition and then I got certified as a health and nutrition coach, it turned into One Healthy Mother.
I like it.
Yeah. And it's really, I help struggling and overworked parents who are maybe overwhelmed with how to feed themselves and their families nutritiously. You know, they either don't know how to cook, they're overwhelmed by the grocery store, they don't have time to cook. So I go in there and I help them make easy meal plans and choices, and I educate them in food and show them all the different ways that they can either keep stuff in the refrigerator or make really healthy snacks really quickly. And I do it in a really gradual way. My programs are really gradual so that they can make lifelong changes, because this isn't about a quick fix. It's not about a diet. I don't do diets. Okay. I don't count calories. I don't do that sort of stuff. Once I started this business, I really wanted to give people the tools so that they don't need me after our program's over.
You don't hear that very often.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't sound like your average
They usually
Gold's
do
Gym.
keep me on board because they like me so much. But I do offer maintenance and, offer support in different kind of programs after we're done. And I love when my clients want to re-up and sign with me again. It's wonderful because I get very attached to them too. And we develop a relationship. And I like to see them really transform.
So we have heard we have to eat right ever since we were kids.
Yes.
But why is it even more important now with
Right.
the way things are?
Eat your veggies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been hearing that a long time. Well, I wouldn't say that it's more important now. I think it's always been important. I think people are a lot more educated now, and the science has come along to the extent that we are equating disease and stress and all those sort of negatives that we hear in our life, that we are linking them to how we eat. Right. Now, I don't just do nutrition. For me, it's about a balanced life. So when I talk to my clients, a lot of my clients have ended up being, aside from the parental family clients that I have, but I also have a lot of women in their 40s and 50s who have just never put themselves first, and they've come to a point in their life where they've said, I'm going to make myself a priority, and I am going to take care of myself for once. Women are like that. We nurture and we sometimes forget ourselves. So they either want to get to an ideal weight or just to a healthy place. So it's a matter of the whole life. It's a matter of exercise, sleep. Do you have the tools to manage your stress? We all feel stress, but what do you do about that? How are your relationships? How's your career? How can we make everything in your life nutritious, if that makes sense?
That makes total sense.
Yeah, okay.
That makes total sense. So what's a typical process? Someone comes to you, they're overwhelmed, they know they should be eating better, but they don't have time or they can't figure it out. You have a consultation, or what are the steps?
We start out with an initial consultation. I send them a form that they fill out, which basically informs me what their issues are, what medication they may be on, what they ate as a child, what they eat now, because there's a real correlation between your taste buds have formed over these years. So it's hard to break those habits, which is a lot of what I do is breaking those habits and actually changing your cravings. You can change your taste buds. It doesn't take that long. It's surprising to me how people come into my consultations and they are, without a doubt, sugar addicts.
Right.
And a week after, not the first step, but well into the program, when they're off sugar, they think it's impossible at first. And then a week after, they can't believe that they're not sweetening their coffee or their whatever that is, that they don't feel like they, quote, need it anymore. So they'll come in for initial consultation. We talk about their issues, what their goals are, and what I see in the paper in front of me, what I see. I try to ask them questions just to get a little deeper into that paper, so that they can really feel comfortable with me, because I try to have a setting where it's non-judgmental and that they feel that they can really share with me, because we go kind of deep. There are tears in a lot of those initial consultations.
Right.
So I like to be, as approachable and non-judgmental as possible. And we just talk. And frankly, that's a lot of what our sessions are like. I listen and they tell me how they're doing. As a coach, I am literally that. I am in their corner and I am supporting them while I give them education on food and teach them how to make many different dishes and how to perhaps take off those 20 pounds, 30 pounds, things like that. I am really somebody that they can be accountable to. It's surprising to a lot of my clients that just the practice of keeping a food journal, how they know that being accountable to me and to themselves, more importantly, when they write it down, how much that in and of itself changes the way they eat.
It's like having a gym buddy, like you.
Yeah, exactly.
You get that motivation.
Exactly.
You sound like a nutritional therapist. Almost.
Yeah, that's actually a good title. I like that. Nutritional therapist. I'll take it.
All right. Well, this is a good place to stop. We're going to go to break. This is Joel Metzger with LA Business Spotlight, and we're here with Leslie Burns.
LA Business Spotlight is brought to you by Icebox Logic, makers of fine handcrafted audio and video. Go to iceboxlogic.net to see examples. Your company needs to communicate.
We are back with LA Business Spotlight. We're here with Leslie Burns of One Healthy Mother.
Hi.
So what if a client doesn't need a whole program? They just need sort of a Kickstarter thing, or just one thing to just sort of jumpstart them?
Well, I do offer those. I offer, if you go to my website, onehealthymother.com, and that's ONE, not the number one, you'll see that there are a bunch of a la carte options. And I come in and I do a pantry sweep. I'll take you to the grocery store, the farmer's market. I can come and do a smoothie demo for you, or just make a couple of dishes. I have some clients that brought me in just to show their children some alternatives to what they normally eat on a day-to-day basis. For instance, a pasta dish. I shred a bunch of zucchini. I saute it and I put some pesto on it. And surprisingly, the kids love it. Right. And they say, well, what is this? Is this a pasta? I say, no, that is shredded zucchini. It's a pretty broad topic. We'll talk about, again, much like the initial consultation, what their issues are. I can put them on a pretty simple path. There are a few things that everybody should do. Everybody should be drinking a lot of water. You want to drink half of your body weight in ounces daily. We are a very dehydrated society. A lot of people think they're hungry and they're actually thirsty, but they just don't realize it.
I've heard that.
So a one-off would be a really general meeting. I'd answer your questions. Most people come in for a one-off saying, well, I just want to do this. And so I give them the tools to hopefully get them towards that. My preference is to work with somebody over a long period of time. In my opinion, real change takes time.
Right.
Anybody, a dietitian, a nutritionist, who are all wonderful, will usually give you a meal plan, and they'll write some stuff down for you. You'll be able to follow certain things like Weight Watchers. They give you point systems. For me, for what I do, it's not about how much are you eating of this. You can have a pizza on Weight Watchers. I want to educate you in whole food. I want you to be eating real food, not the processed stuff. But all of those things take time. I can't just take somebody off of pizza who's been eating pizza their whole life. So it's a slow, gradual process. Right. So my preference is to work with somebody over a long period of time. But I go into schools. I teach at schools. I'll teach nutrition with a smoothie demo. I even go into women's closets and go through their clothes with them and, tell them what I think looks good and what I think they need and what isn't doing them any favors. So it's really fluid. It's whatever. Every single client that comes to me is different and a real individual. I try to go in with a blank slate so that they can hit me with anything. And I can be ready to sort of receive that. And I try as much as possible to do it all with some levity and a sense of humor. A lot of people in my field can be a little earnest. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not my style. I like to laugh. I like my clients to laugh. Laughing equals happiness, So for me, it's not about, come to my office, my little lotus flower, and we will find a healing sense. I'm much more about being real, taking it into your real life. How are we gonna use this on a day-to-day basis for you?
So, and how do you do it? How do you have fun while you're doing it? Because on your website, I saw you had fun exercises, quote unquote.
Well,
let's hear about those fun exercises.
Well, are you not one of those people?
No, I do enjoy exercise.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of...
Most people these days have made a correlation between their mood and exercise, and they do if they're aware enough, they can see that when they do exercise, they do feel better. But there are so many different ways to get there. You don't have to go into a gym and stare at a TV and be on a treadmill. If that works for you, awesome. If it doesn't, I find different ways for my clients to get their exercise because everybody needs to be moving their body.
Right.
Everybody. Right. So it could be with the kids that I work with, I tell them, turn on a song and dance around your room and just act like an idiot. Right. Nobody's watching. Right. I do it. We all do it. Sing a song, walk your dog, ride your bike, anything that gets you in motion. Because I try to teach them that if they start to practice this now, it will behoove them as they get older.
Right. Well, what about the long term? What can they expect if they get started early or they just put in a lot of years really taking care of themselves? What are the benefits for the long haul?
Well, I mean, it's really endless. There's lower cholesterol, better cardiovascular health. I believe your brain health is attached to that completely, and obesity certainly is lowered, which, as we all know, is a huge problem these days. And frankly, if we started as children knowing what was good to eat and what we needed to make our bodies healthy, I think we would have a lot healthier universe. Exactly. This is a very hip field right now. People want this. People are really aware of their health right now. The people who are in my field, I don't get competitive. I relish in all the people that are doing what I do because I feel that this has a trickle-down effect. The more people we have that are healthy, I truly believe the more peaceful our universe will be.
Tell people where they can reach you.
You can reach me at onehealthymother.com. And, Joel, I would like to offer anybody who is listening a free initial consultation with me. They can just put in the subject line, LA Business Spotlight, and submit an email, and I will gladly give anybody a free initial consultation.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Leslie, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
This has been Joel Metzger with LA Business Spotlight. We've been here with Leslie Burns.
You've been listening to LA Business Spotlight. If you have a company or service and you'd like to appear on the show, send an email to info@iceboxlogic.net.
This podcast was recorded at the studios of Icebox Logic.